According to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, subsection MAC 2021, integrity is a crucial element in maintaining transparency and ethical governance within Malaysia halal food supply chain. The fake halal meat scandal, uncovered in late 2020, revealed a major breach of trust and corruption involving the illegal importation of non-halal frozen meat that was falsely labeled as halal. This case exposed the manipulation of halal certification and the unethical conduct of certain importers and enforcement officers who accepted bribes allowed the distribution of uncertified meat. Such practice deceived Muslim consumers, violated religious principles, and damaged public confidence in Malaysia's halal integrity system. The incident also highlighted systemic weaknesses in regulatory enforcement, lack of transparency, and the failure to uphold integrity among key players in the halal supply industry. It underscored the urgent need for ethical reform, stricter monitoring, and anti-corruption measures across government agencies and the private sector. This case study report focuses on the fake halal meat scandal by analyzing its background, identifying key integrity and corruption issues, and discussing strategies to restore public trust and strengthen Malaysia's halal certification system.
So hi everyone, today I'm going to share about the fake halal meat scandal in Malaysia. So this case really shocked a lot of people because it showed how a cartel smuggled frozen meat from the countries that were not halal certified and sold it here using the fake halal labels. Some reports even said the meat included the horse, kangaroo and the pork, but it was repacked and sold as a halal beef. So this made many Malaysians angry because the halal food is not about the choice, it's part of our religion and daily life. So what happened? The scandal was involves the smugglers and the importers who were not registered with the JAKIM. They brought in the meat from places like China and Brazil. They faked the document and used the fake halal logo to make it look real. So after that, the meat was stored in the warehouse and repacked and sold all over the Malaysia, even to the restaurant and the supermarkets. Some meat was mixed with the real halal meat to hide where it come from. So what is a big issue? So this become a serious issue because it touched on religion trust. Many Muslims feel betrayed and started to lose confidence in the halal logo. It also raised a health concern since the smuggled meat did not go through proper checks. So besides that, the scandal affected the Malaysian reputation as a trusted halal hub in the world. So, the impact and the conclusion. After the scandal, people demand action from the authorities. Some companies and individuals were charged. For example, LY Frozen Food was fined RM 1.5 million for using the fake halal logos. So, this whole case became a wake-up call for Malaysia to improve our halal monitoring system and make sure something like this never happen again. So, in the end, this scandal really taught us the importance of honesty, proper enforcement, and protecting the integrity of the halal product in our country.
First, Trade Discrimination Act 2011. The Trade Discrimination Act protects consumers from being misled. Under Section 28, it is illegal to use fake halal label. In this scandal, the meat cartel used fake halal logo, which broke the law. Company can be fined up to 5 million and individual can be jailed or fined. Only JAKIM and State Islamic Council have the right to issue halal marks. Second, Food Act 1983 and Food Regulation 1985. This law makes sure all food sold is safely and properly labelled. Section 30 says we cannot sell contaminated or harmful food, but in this case, the syndicate imported meat from unapproved sources, meat expired and non-halal meat, and sold it with fake halal label. This broke food safety law and cheated consumers. Thirdly, Consumer Protection Act 1990. This law protects consumers from false and unfair practice. Section 10 and 30 say business cannot give false or misleading information. Selling fake halal meat clearly broke this law. Muslim consumers were not given the right information and were treated unfairly, which goes against consumer rights. Now is JAKIM Halal certification procedure. JAKIM is responsible for making sure halal product for Islamic standard. Only meat from JAKIM approved sources can be certified as halal. The company must follow hygiene and document rules. But in this scandal, the cartel ignored JAKIM process, used fake logos and brought in illegal meat. This hurt Malaysia's good reputation in the halal industry. Lastly, Malaysia Anti-Corruption Commission Act 2009 investigation found that corruption helped the cartel continue their business. Some officers took bribes to ignore illegal imports. Under Section 60 and 70, giving or receiving bribes is a serious crime. Those involved can go to jail for up to 20 years. This corruption betrayed public trust and allowed the scandal to go on for years. That's all for my part.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Shalina Alisha and I will be presenting about our case analysis on the halal meat cartel case in Malaysia. I will explain the facts of the case, the main issues, the laws involved, the impacts, and finally my analysis and opinion. Let's start with the facts of the case. Firstly, let me explain the basic facts of the case. This case involved the import of non-halal and expired meat into Malaysia. The meat was repacked and sold as halal, which is both unethical and illegal. The illegal activity happened through smuggling and the fake halal logos, and some officers were involved because they accept the bribes to approve the imports. The authorized involved in this case were SPRM and KPDN-HEP, who carried out the investigation and took action against the syndicates. Now is the issues. From the case, we can see three major issues. Firstly is halal issues. Non-halal meat was sold as halal, misleading consumer and violating religious values. Second is safety issues. Some of the meat was expired and contaminated. This create a serious health risk and show how unsafe the supply chain was. Third was corruption. Officers accept bribes, inspection were ignored, and the enforcement system failed to protect consumers. So now I will talk about the laws involved. This action broke several imports laws. First, under the Trade Description Act 2011, the syndicate used the fake halal labels. Second, in the Food Act 1983, was violated because unsafe food was sold. Third was the Consumer Protection Act was broken due to false claim. Fourth, in the Food Regulation 1985 was violated because the food source was not delivered correctly. The SPRM Act involved bribery. And finally, JAKIM halal rules were not followed. So now is the impact of the case. This case had a strong impact to the country. First, like immediate impact. Large amount of illegal meat were seized. Several officers were suspended and the whole syndicate was exposed. Next is the public reaction. The public was very angry. Trust in halal certification dropped and the Muslim consumer became worried about food safety. And then is the government action. The government responded with a tighter halal imports control, stronger border monitoring, and a plan for a digital halal tracking system. And now is my analysis and my opinion. This is my analysis and my opinion. For the weak enforcement, even though laws exist, they were not strongly enforced. Corruption allowed the syndicate to operate for years. And then for the system weakness, the halal system was easily exploited because there was a lack of transparency and poor monitoring of the supply chains. And for my opinion, integrity in enforcement must be improved. The halal industry needs a digital tracking system to prevent fraud, and Malaysia must rebuild public trust, especially if we want to maintain our position as a global halal hub. So that's all from me. Next, I'll pass to my friend to continue.
My name is Nur Shakira bint Abdul Hakim. Today I will be presenting on Section 5.0, Implications for Businesses and Society, focusing on the effects of the halal meat scandal in Malaysia. This issue has caused major consequences not only for businesses but also for society, particularly in terms of trust, reputation, law, economy, and ethics. Firstly, one of the biggest impacts is the loss of consumer trust. The scandal revealed serious cases of misuse of the halal logo, mislabeling, and mixing of halal and non-halal meat. After the meat cartel case, many Muslim consumers began to doubt whether halal certified products were truly halal. This distrust didn't just affect the companies involved, but it also harmed genuine halal businesses that followed the rules. As the result, their sales dropped and their reputation suffered. Once consumer confidence is lost, it takes a long time to rebuild it. Secondly, the scandal also damaged Malaysia's reputation as a global halal hub. According to the South China Morning Post, Malaysia's gold standard status for halal products was questioned internationally. This made it harder for Malaysian halal exporters to maintain trust in global Muslim markets. Local businesses now face stricter inspections, higher compliance costs, and pressure to regain credibility. They must improve transparency and strengthen their supply chain systems to ensure every step truly meets halal standard. Thirdly, the scandal exposed several legal and regulatory weaknesses. It was found that some enforcement officers were involved in corruption and bribery. Because of that, the government has tightened laws and improved enforcement mechanisms. Organizations like JAKIM and the State Islamic Religious Councils now play a bigger role in monitoring halal integrity. Experts from IIUM also call for stronger laws to make companies criminally liable for halal fraud. This means businesses must now invest in better traceability and documentation systems to avoid future violence. Next, from an economic point of view, the scandal caused major disruptions in the halal supply chain. Many companies faced product recalls, financial losses, and boycotts from consumers. Millions of ringgit worth of imported meat were frozen, leading to wasted resources and halted operations. To recover, businesses now need to spend more on audits, certification, and quality control, which increase their operations costs but is necessary to restore public confidence and market stability. Lastly, there were also strong social and ethical consequences. For Muslims, halal food is not just about diet, it's about faith. When the scandal was revealed, it caused deep anger, disappointment, and feelings of betrayal among Malaysians. Religious Affairs Minister Zulkifli Muhammad Al-Bakri stated that those involved must be brought to justice because halal represents the image of Islam and Malaysia. This incident also pressured religious bodies like JAKIM to restore public confidence and strengthen the halal certification process to prevent such incidents in the future. That's all for my part. Thank you.
Today I want to present the recognition of the halal meat cartel issue of Malaysia. First is border enforcement and integrity. We recommend strong border check. A special unit UKH should be set up with the JAKIM and the Markets Office in the impact the all import frozen meat. We also suggest using the smart technology like scanner, blockchain, and QR code to track meat from the slaughterhouse overseas until the research Malaysia. This makes the halal process clear and more reliable. Second is the supply chain transparency and certification. All meat imports should be through regular third-party halal audits. A halal import white list should be created to the import-only company with the good record. New imports should be go through probation period. This helps ensure that only trusted company can import the meat. Next is the amendments and penalties. The Trade Act should be updated. There have punishment such as the higher fines and mandatory jail for who does fake halal logo or bird harvest. Companies should also be fined based on their annual revenue, and luggage company cannot accept the responsibility. Last is consumer education and awareness. Public awareness should be improved. The campaign that tell people how to check halal status using the Jakim apps or website. People should be encouraged to report any suspicious activity. Halal integrity training should also be required for all workers to the supply chains.
In conclusion, the fake halal meat scandal serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of integrity, transparency, and accountability within Malaysia's halal industry. The case reveals how unethical practices, corruption, and weak enforcement mechanisms allow the illegal importations and distributions of non-halal meat falsely labeled as halal to continue for years. This incident violated several Malaysian laws, including the Trade Description Act 1999 and the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission Act 2009, demonstrating the severity of the misconduct and its impact on consumers and the nation's reputations. The scandal not only deceived millions of Muslims consumers, but also caused a significant loss of trust in the halal certification system, damaging Malaysia's standing as a global halal hub. The betrayal of religious and ethical principles highlighted serious gaps in the monitoring, inspection, and regulatory collaborations among government agencies and private sectors. Therefore, it is essential for Malaysia to strengthen enforcement at all levels, implement advanced technological solutions for halal traceability, and impose stricter legal penalties on offenders. Moving forward, restoring public trust requires continuous integrity reforms, transparent governments, and active consumer educations. Both government and industry stakeholders must uphold honesty and accountability to prevent future occurrence. By reinforcing the principle of integrity and ethical conduct, Malaysia can rebuild confidence in its halal certification system and maintain its position as a world leader in the halal food industry.